Okay, I'm back. So I see that I could have done something the last time. I just did it here, but let's see if this works. All right. So we'll see if you're here. If anybody's here, I don't know. Nobody's here yet. All right. I killed the chat. I'm sorry. I killed the live stream before. Now I'm doing going again. We could have a storm at any minute. Um, I hear thunder in the background. Oh well, it is what it is. Hopefully you'll be here soon. Welcome. Hey Josh, how you doing? Glad you're here. Looks like we picked everyone back up again. Good. I'm here. I got the chat working. I think I may have been able to get the chat working before. I was a little too quick to pull the trigger. When I hit the three dots, I saw that there's a thing called pop out the chat, and it opened up a separate window. So that's nice. It's nice to know for the future, actually. So the chat's a lot bigger. All right, we're going to talk about today the DeWALT Elite Series. Very interesting surprise box of goodies that I got about 2-3 weeks ago, and I've been walking past it every day, and I just been putting it off. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about it today. I think it's a really good thing to do, and I think there's some really interesting stories here. I also want to let you know the way that it works here at Ask the Builder. By the way, if you just happen to join, I'm Tim Carter. I'm the Ask the Builder guy online, and we always like it. The we is me and everybody else on the team. There's so many. We'd like you to check in, and that just means that if you can just type your name and say hello. And the reason why is I'd like to know who's here, and also if you have a really good superpower. I'd like to know what it is because I might have a question for you. And for example, Josh knows a lot more about building bridges than the rest of us, probably all of us combined. So that's one of Josh's superpowers. He's also he's a really good DIYer. He's got some good skills. So anyway, check in and appreciate it. All right, let's talk a little bit about what happened to me over the weekend, and then we're going to get into the DeWALT Elite series. Yesterday, I'm not immune from doing dumbass things, so you know. I talked about this on a past live stream. In the past, I've ridden motorcycles my whole life. Never really owned one. As crazy as it sounds, never owned one. My mom and dad would not let me buy one. And then what happened as soon as I actually just wrote about this. As soon as I started dating my wife, her her mom and dad made it really clear that they did not want their daughter dating a Hell's Angels, even though I did not wear one of those jean jackets with the sleeves cut off. All right, so with that thing on the back. And I wasn't riding a Harley either. Riding a Honda 350. So anyway, I don't know, 4 years ago, my youngest daughter, who is a lot like me, bless her heart, she's real headstrong and she just, she's an adult, so she can do whatever she wants. So she goes out and buys this motorcycle. I mean, and not just any motorcycle. She buys a Honda Shadow 600cc. And if you know anything about motorcycles at all, the Honda Shadow is a knockoff of the Harley Davidson. It's got the V engine, all chrome plated. It's got the same timing, the same throaty sound. Anybody, if you don't know anything about motorcycles, if you don't know anything about them, and you saw this, you would go, "Oh, that's a Harley Davidson. It looks just like one." Blah 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 blah. It's not. It's a Honda, but it's really well made. I mean, Honda's got a reputation for making really good motorcycles. And so my daughter's not here, so she says, "Ride it anytime you want." I live on a private development, so I can ride around these roads without a license plate or registration. And so I decided yesterday afternoon to take it out to exercise it. It should be ridden every 2 weeks. It was pretty warm out. I mean, it's really warm, 86, 87, which is very unusual for New Hampshire in May. And I was wearing shorts, and I thought, "Oh, I'll be really careful." Huh. You because the cylinder heads are right there, big muffler coming down the right side. And 3 years ago, I burned my right leg really badly, on the muffler. I mean, third-degree burns. So, I take the motorcycle out, drive it around a little bit, come back. I'm gonna back it into the garage. I'm starting to back into the garage, and my left foot slips, so the bike started to go left a little bit, and then that put my right inside of my right leg against the one cylinder head. Youch. So I got a big burn about an inch and a half wide by 4.5 inches, about 4 inches long. Just, second degree burn right away. And it's already started to peel. It's horrible. All right. So you got to be careful with these motorcycles. All right. You got to wear jeans. And I knew it, just so you know, in my own head, I went, man, this is how you got burned the last time because you were wearing shorts. Got to wear jeans. And that's the other thing. You cannot wear synthetic pants. You cannot wear pants made out of polyester or whatever, because that just melts. That's worse. You'll get a worse burn because the heat will melt the polyester, and now you have this molten glob of polyester embedded in your skin. So if you're going to ride a motorcycle, you have to wear cotton or wool pants or leather, cotton, wool, or leather. That's it. I was too lazy to go in and get jeans on, and it was pretty hot. I thought, I'll be careful. Big mistake. Not doing that again. Never again. Never again will I wear flipping shorts. All right. I did wear a helmet, but oh well. All right. If you happen to just jump in here, there's 5 people that have not checked in. 5 people. There we go. Howard. Wonderful. London. We have a person who normally watches us, Steve, who's from London as well. Welcome. Great that you're here. Great that it's still light in London. It's still light. With the solstice, man, it's not dark yet, right? It's not dark. I had a friend of mine, many years ago. He worked for big company Procter & Gamble. He got transferred to Brussels, Belgium, to work at a Procter & Gamble paper plant there. And I remember he told me once that he would cut his grass at 11 o'clock at night. Hard to believe. He said there's just enough light to cut it at 11 o'clock at night. I'm sure the neighbors were, yeah, the days are too long. I know, but it's just the opposite in December, right? I mean, come on. In December, you must only have, I'm going to say you probably only have 6 hours of daylight, because maybe 7, because here in New Hampshire, we only have 9. So anyway, all right. So thanks for being here, Howard. If you have any questions at all about your home, or apartment, condo, whatever you live in, feel free to ask them. That's why I do the live streams. I do them just to help homeowners save time and money. No, it's that easy. I actually wrote a column today, kind of thinking about you and the people who live in the UK and other parts of Europe. It was talk about types of roofing material, and over here in the United States, asphalt shingles are probably 85% of the roofs in the United States are asphalt shingles. And I have a lot of European subscribers to my newsletter, and I've talked about it before. And in the past, and I would think it's still the same, asphalt shingles over there are considered just worthless or cheap, or you're kind of looked down on if you have an asphalt shingle roof on your home. Is that still true, Howard? Can you confirm that? If I would think that you still have a lot of slate there, and maybe cement type roofing, something like that. So anyway, not a lot of asphalt used in Europe. All right, let's talk about the DeWALT Elite Series. That's why you might be here. I get, because I'm a member of the working media, manufacturers send me products to look at, to evaluate, to test. All right, it takes a lot of time to do it. DeWALT, it started quite a few years ago, but Stanley Black & Decker owns the DeWALT brand, and Stanley's a big company. All right, they're a big company, and I've been to their headquarters down in Connecticut, and they take this stuff very seriously, and they have to. It's a publicly traded company. The what's very interesting, I get to see kind of behind the curtain. Like, for example, if you've ever watched the movie Wizard of Oz, and there's the wizard, and the dog or whatever, they pull back the curtain, and you can see that all that's really happening is a guy pulling levers. And I get to look behind the curtain on when we go on editors tours, and we get to see and meet the people you never get to see and meet. You never get to see the engineering teams, and you never get to see the engineering labs, and you never get to see the factories. Well, I get to see all that, and you just have no idea how much money is put into the development of a new tool. Even something as simple as a reciprocating saw blade, you have no idea how much money is put into that. It's vast sums of money. So here's what happened. I get this box out of the blue. There was no announcement. It just shows up. And typically I know something's coming, not this one. Big box. And it's got this giant diamond saw blade in it, 14-inch saw blade. I'm sorry about the reflection. And it's a 14-inch diameter blade. It's meant to cut, it can go on a big wet saw, cuts concrete, masonry. And I'll just read to you what it says on here. It's got extended wheel life because by increasing the bond strength with a cobalt infused matrix. So they do all kinds of chemistry to find out what will make blades last longer and cut better. It's this particular design of this blade, and it's got a very unusual design. I know it's really hard to see, but it's a kind of a multi-layered design. It's designed so it reduces friction. That's really important when you're using a cutoff saw or this type of saw. And it's got a high alloy steel core, and it's got these segments on here. The segments that the cutting teeth are welded with lasers. All right, so that. And they feature twice the amount of diamond concentration. So there's a lot more diamond on the blade, which means it should last longer. All right, that's good. So that was the biggest thing that came in the box. Next up was this is a blade that you'll probably be really familiar with. This is a standard 7 1/4-inch saw blade. All right, so what's new with that? It's got a proprietary welded carbide tip. And it's got some much bigger, it's really hard to see because of the background, but it's got these very interesting heat vents. The biggest problem, you may not know this, in the old days, circular saw blades would get really hot, and it's like the engineers never thought about the heat dissipation. Well, a lot of thought and engineering has gone into that. So a lot of modern blades, it's a lot like rotors on your car, how some rotors are vented, and to get rid of the heat. Well, they do the same thing now with saw blades. All right, so this one's got fantastic heat vents. It also came with a small diameter cutting wheel blade. It was 4.5-inch diameter, a little small one. I know it's hard to see because of the reflection. I'm trying to do it. So this is just a regular abrasive blade that would fit into a small handheld grinder, small handheld saw that you want to use, and it cuts through a wide range of metals. It's actually, this blade will particularly cut through metals. It shows it on the actually a picture on the blade. Like you can see here that it's like a small I-beam. Steel tubing, or for example, like black iron pipe. So you can cut steel with this. Really, really an interesting blade. That would come in very handy instead of trying to snap a piece of cast iron. If you're doing a plumbing repair, you could use a blade like this. Came with a little hole saw, 2-inch hole saw. Very common, hard again to see because it's black. This is a black hole saw. It says that it's got advanced welding technology of the blades. And here's what you really can't see this so much when you look at these tools when you buy one. But I can assure you that I'm trying to hold this so you can see it. There we go. So that the teeth part of this blade up here, that is a completely different steel than the core of the hole saw. This is just probably a standard steel. And then when they make these, they actually do this incredible welding job, and they weld a very narrow band of this very special steel that's used for the cutting teeth, so that steel stays sharper longer. I saw this at at a factory tour about 4 years ago. Absolutely amazing. It says that this particular bit, this hole saw, will drill a wide range of materials. Thin or thick metal, wood with nails, sheetrock, drywall, non-ferrous metal, meaning aluminum, copper, and it'll cut cast iron. Hard to believe. Hard to flip and believe. Hard to believe. All right. And then there's two different reciprocating saw blades. And then there are they sent two big bits, two rotohammer bits. The one bit's just huge. It's so big. It's about as big as this picture. I mean, it's a massive drill bit. So you wouldn't think that there is, that they could improve a flipping rotohammer bit, right? Okay, well, here's why. So they've redesigned the heads so that it drills faster in masonry and reinforced concrete. And it's got a no break guarantee, meaning if you break the bit somehow, if you snap the bit, you'll get a new one for free. It says, as long as the anchor wear mark is present, the bit will not break or we will replace it free of charge. All right. And it's even if you hit a piece of rebar, it can handle it. It's crazy. All right, so that's it. The Elite Series. Guarantee you, when you get one of those blades or whatever, hey Bob, how you doing? It'll cut better. It's going to work better. You'll be absolutely amazed. The last factory tour I went on, it was for Bosch. It wasn't for DeWALT. And the engineers had set up a very interesting test. I actually have these videos on my YouTube channel. And they actually had all of it set up. They had clocks, they had cameras, they timed it all, and they did a side-by-side test with these blades for a regular jigsaw. And it was really remarkable, how well they cut and how fast they cut, and just the quality of the cut. And there's not a doubt in my mind that if you did the same exact type of test with these DeWALT Elite Series, you would get very similar or better results. I mean, you have, how do I want to say this? You have to understand that these companies like DeWALT, companies like Bosch, all the big major players, that they just don't flip and say to some guy out in the shop, hey, make some blades today. We want to paint them black and yellow and put a lead on it, whatever. I don't care. Write whatever you want on it. That's not how it's done. Months and months and months of work has gone into the planning, research, testing. You have no idea how much time they spend testing this stuff internally to make sure it's right, because they just can't afford to put a product out there that they make a claim that's not true. So if you have any questions about it, let me know. Happy to answer it. Happy to answer any other questions about your home. What else do I want to tell you? We're supposed to get a big rainstorm. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but if I disappear, that's why. The internet was shut down. We lost power, whatever it might be. So I just want to explain. I don't want you to think I'm being rude. That the big storm would knock us off the air. Is there something else I wanted to tell you? In the newsletter yesterday, it's really kind of funny. You can always tell when spring and summer get here because the feedback I get from newsletters starts to drop off. And it's that time of year where I'm going to cut back on the size of the newsletter, because I think, just like me, people are busy. They want to be outside. They don't want to necessarily be stuck reading a flipping newsletter. All right. And I shared in the newsletter yesterday, just had some fun with it. I'm having fun with a newsletter. Talked about these really colorful socks that my daughter got me for Christmas. There was a photo in the newsletter. You can see it. All the newsletters, by the way, are archived on the website. All you have to do is type newsletter into the search engine. It'll come up. And all right, excuse me. So if you're new to the live stream, here's how it works. You have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, then I'm just going to go away because that's the only reason I'm here. I'm not here to tell you about colorful socks. I'm not here to tell you about the rain. I'm just here to answer questions about your home. So you have to ask questions, because I believe me, I've got stuff to do. In fact, there's an assignment I'd like to finish today. I don't think I'm going to finish it. It's a really, really big assignment, and it's probably going to take me all of tomorrow morning to finish it up. I'm not allowed to tell you what it is, but it's very, very technical writing. I do some ghost writing, basically. No. Does stain solver remove rust from sinks and well water? No. Stain solver is not a rust remover. Nope. It also does not remove hard water stains. You need white vinegar or muriatic acid for hard water. Rust, there's all kinds of different rust stain removers out there. There's all kinds of them. So, but the answer is nope. It does a lot of other stuff. Stain solver does a lot of other cleaning, a lot of other stains, but not rust. All right, what other questions do you have? Happy to answer them. Maybe you've got a question about, let me make one up for you. I had a consult this morning, one of my consult phone calls with a gentleman down in Jacksonville, Florida. He's kind of a handyman guy, and he recognizes, it's really interesting. This guy, I really got to give him the kudos, because he knows his limitations, and he's a subscriber to my newsletter, and he got this particular job where there were 3 things in the job. He didn't know the best way to handle it, to do it in the most efficient way. Here's Steve. Hey, Steve, look, we got Howard here. Howard is from London too, if Howard's still here. Anyway, it's great that you're here, Steve. So he wanted to know about if there was a easy to use self-leveling floor compound. There is. USG makes it. He had to smooth and repair this this botched up repair job around a thimble for a boiler that went up into this brick wall. I told him how to do that. Just simple stucco mix, and then the same type of problem on the outside. There's some concrete block work that had to be done. I told him how to fix that. But all of that stuff is on the website, under concrete block repair. So I had told him about those videos to watch. Really good stuff. So Steve, a lot of stuff going on, buddy. A lot of stuff going on. Crazy stuff over here in the U.S., buddy. Crazy, crazy stuff. I read an article. I'm going to pull it up right now. This is kind of interesting. We'll just talk about this for a minute. I saw this article where a former Pfizer, one of the big pharma VPs up in, here in America, said that he was quoted in this recent article. I'm trying to pull up his exact quote. He said, I'm pulling it up. Let's see. Just a second. It's a big, long article. I wanted to see exactly where he said it. But he basically said that that this the people that are pushing this widespread mandate of getting the clot shot, that the crimes against humanity. I mean, this is a VP from Pfizer. Just crazy. I mean, but what's really, really interesting is that the more stuff that's coming out as we go down the timeline, it's really, if you start to connect the dots, Howard, if you're not watching in the chat, Steve wants to know what part of London you live in. As we get on the timeline, you can see how this whole the whole response really had nothing to do with health. It had nothing to do with health. So And Steve says, let's see here. Well, yeah, I know you keep hearing things like that, but you do nothing about it. I know the trouble here in America is, and I don't know if it's the same way in the UK, but our justice system has been compromised, and you've heard me say it for months now. You've heard me say it for months. It's Game of Thrones stuff. All right, it's the highest level you can play of Game of Thrones. Well, probably second highest level. Because we're playing on a national scale here, and you can play Game of Thrones at an international scale. But the trouble is our justice system here has been compromised, and the judges are injecting too much of their own political bias into their decisions. So on a personal level, I've lost all faith in the system. And so they don't want to they don't want to prosecute their friends, so it's a bad deal. So but hopefully things will happen, and we'll get some justice. I don't know. Only time will tell, but it ain't talking, is the old saying. So if you have any other questions, I know. How you doing? My UPS driver's here. He just came here, dropping off a package. I'm doing a live video stream. That's why I can't come down. So anyway, what happens here in the rural area, you get to know everybody. You get to know all your drivers. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I'll write that down. Russell Brand. My guess is Kathy has watched him, knows all about him. Kathy knows everybody. She just sent me a video about an hour ago. I guess I could maybe try to paste the link in here. Yeah, maybe I can. This is kind of interesting. Yeah, I can get it here. So she came across this video of a guy in Florida. I'm sorry, Texas, who here we go. I'm just copying the link. So you got to watch this video. So if I like what's in this video, I'm going to save a lot of money. All right. I don't think they'll throw me in jail, but evidently, if this guy's done it in Texas should apply to all the other states. It's basically illegal. I don't want to say, yeah, I guess I would say illegal, to charge people for driver's license and for car license plates. I know it sounds crazy, but once you start getting into the habit of doing something, you go, well, maybe that's what we're supposed to do. Anyway, watch that video and really make sure you read the description, because you just can't start to do this. You have to understand, and if you're in America, you have to understand due process before you start to do what he says to do in this video. So you have to understand due process. And but a lot of nutty stuff going on, a lot of crazy stuff. All right, I went way off the rails on Saturday's live stream, Saturday morning. And interestingly enough, I got a little bit of email from it, all positive, and some positive comments. But I went way off the rails, and then I had a follow-up email conversation with one of the viewers. Her name is Elaine. She was Elaine's a subscriber to my newsletter. She's been subscribing for a long time, and we've started to email from time to time. I've become friends with her, and she's a nice woman. Love to meet her. Very, very smart. Very smart. Served in the U.S. Navy, and but she I got talking a little bit about the propaganda that was used 2 years ago at the beginning of the illness, and how they used these photographs of mass graves up in New York City on Harp Island. And I don't know that she necessarily believed me, but she then decided to go do some research, and she sent me some links. I already knew it. I already had the photos. I already knew what they were. And, the questions that I posed to her and posed on the live stream, and I know this is about home improvement, but this is what happens when you don't ask questions in the chat. I go off the rails. All right. So if you want me to get back on the rails, you got to start asking questions. So, so I told her, I said, so Will, Monday is a golf day for Will, so he's not here because of no golf. He's golfing. And Lorene, she's I don't know. Her husband broke his ankle about 2 weeks ago, and so it's completely disrupted their life. And he broke it really badly. I think required surgery. And so she's become Nurse Lorene. So she gets a hall pass, and so does Will. But anyway, what I told Elaine was to basically kind of prove to her that that it was all used as propaganda. Here we are, the United States of America, probably one of the richest countries in the world, and you're telling me we have to dig mass graves for people, that we don't have enough land to give each poor person that passed away their own gravesite? Are you kidding me? Come on. So that's the you have to understand, yeah, I know, Shannon, there's been quite a few people that have not been around. I know, quite a few. Jason hasn't been here for a while. Well, he could be lurking. He's the expert lurker. He gets the lurking pass. He doesn't have to check in. So the I just kind of went off the rails talking about just giving examples of how everybody's been played, and they just don't even realize it, because the whole purpose of using that mass grave photograph is it's a big scarcity play. It's a big pushing. They really push hard on the scarcity psychological trigger in everybody's head, with that one single photograph. So bad stuff. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Because because what happened, the whole reason, in other words, when you think about mass graves, mass graves are only attributed to very bad things. All right, be it genocide, be it a war, where been a huge battle, and there's just not enough people around, to dig individual graves and to mark them all, and they got to get the bodies in the ground to prevent disease, blah 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 blah. I mean, there's a million reasons. All right, but the connotation of mass grave is meant to scare you. That's all. That was the point. Exactly. That's exactly what I said on Saturday. And any other questions about your home? Do you have any questions about your home? That's why I'm here. Seriously, I'm only here for one reason: not to talk about mass graves. Not at all. Want to talk about so Steve, here's something really interesting. No, I have not got monkeypox. I haven't heard about it. Is that really real? I have not heard about the whole monkeypox thing. I'm sure it's a joke. I'm sure it's not real. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm not worried about it. There aren't a lot of monkeys in central New Hampshire. Anyway, Steve, I wanted to tell you, so the super thanks got turned. You already know this. I emailed you the interesting. That's a whole scare thing, the whole monkeypox. What it is they had so much fun. They had so much fun playing with all of us. It's like a cat. Have you ever seen a cat? Like a juvenile cat that's got a lot of energy. How once it finds a mouse, how it loves playing with a mouse and batting it around. It doesn't want to kill it right away. It wants to play with it. So that's how all our overlords are. I mean, they've got a warm tingle up their leg the past 2 years because they totally. I bet you they never felt that we would obey like we did. No, not all of us did. All right. So anyway, so now they had so much fun with that. And now since everybody's starting to figure it all out, they're like, oh man, we got to come up with something else. So yeah, they come up with monkeypox, and then after the monkeypox, it's going to be dinosaur pox. It's going to be It's going to be, oh my God, guess what happened? An archaeologist was out in the field, and he dug up a Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil, and there was some horrible pox DNA in the dinosaur. I swear to God, that's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you. Just they're going to just make this stuff up. It's just like, it just you can't. None of this is hard to understand. None of it's hard to figure out. So they're going to try to do everything possible to continue to control people. But there's a lot of us they're not going to do it to. They're not going to pull it off. Not going to pull it off. So, all right. Any other questions about your home? Got a lot of people here. The reason I do the live streams to answer roof questions, plumbing questions, concrete questions, whatever you want. I wrote a column that appeared. I may have talked about this in a past live stream, but I'll just bring it up again real quickly. I wrote a column that I know is going to make all the replacement window companies angry as can be. It appeared nationally, and it started 2 weeks ago. And basically, I run through the numbers in the column and show people, unless your windows don't work, unless they're just in such poor shape, you can just pretty much rejuvenate them yourself and literally save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So that column's on the website. So if you're thinking about getting replacement windows, just slow down, make sure you read that column and evaluate whether you really do need new windows. So plumber's putty. I would never use silicone, Steve, to set like a basket strainer in a sink, to set a drain. Plumber's putty is just it's the bomb. It's the best. Silicone is just so messy to work with. It's just so messy, and what I don't like about silicone, number one, it's messy. Number two is that when you start to crank down the nut that holds the drain assembly in, if the two pieces of metal are not perfectly machined, there's a really good chance the silicone's going to leak, believe it or not. That's why I like the plumber's putty, because it's got more body. It's got a lot more body, and you're not going to squish all of it out. And because it has more body, it takes up it fills those gaps much, much better, in my opinion, than silicone. And it just, like I said, silicone is so messy. Oh, horrible. I don't know if it's called a spud nut or not. What I found is some of these terms, Steve, they're really the lexicon can be different country to country. It can be different even regionally here in the United States. What they call one thing here in New Hampshire, they'll call it something different in California. It's crazy. So I don't know. I've never called it a spud nut, but I could be wrong. It doesn't. I don't know. Never had a reason to call it anything other than the drain basket nut or whatever it might be. But that could be its technical name. So what I wanted to tell you was, Steve, so last Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever day it was, the whole super thanks got turned on on all my videos, and I have an average of I was really excited when that happened, because I just thought, wow, that's going to be kind of cool. And on average, I have maybe 9,000 video views a day. All right. And I just, you start to do some math and you go, wow, if only 1% of the people do something, could be significant, And so basically in 5 days, only one person has made a donation. And that's only because I mentioned it in my newsletter yesterday. So either people are not seeing it, which I think is what's going on. I think they're not really seeing it, and I just think that's what the problem is. So it's going to be really interesting to see over time if it really works. But right now, have had like no response. I mean, none. Not only one person. Only one person used it. So that answers the question. Only one person. But it's early. We'll see. And remember, and to your point, it was in beta testing. And what happened is I got a newsletter every week or so. I get a newsletter from YouTube, and that's what lit the fire again. They announced, "Hey, guess what? Super Thanks is now available to everyone, all partners. Here's how to go get it turned on. Blah 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 blah." And you have to go through all these hoops to make it work. It's not easy to turn on, and so. So there's a huge, vast majority of people on YouTube. I think people who use YouTube, they had never even seen it before. They've not seen it. So it's all new to them. So we'll see. So there you go. Josh jumps in. Very exactly. You had never heard of it before. And like I said, Josh, the reason I think why is what I just said. Steve knew of it because Steve was lucky enough to watch or know of these videos of a plumber in the UK, and that they were beta testing with that plumber in the UK, and so Steve knew about it, but I had never heard about it either until Steve told me back in November, December. And anyway, we'll see. It's still really, really, really early. We'll see if it works. I think it should work. What I actually think should happen, especially since YouTube gets a cut of it, all right, is I'll bet you, mark my words, I always try to predict the future. And I think what's going to happen is because YouTube gets a cut of it, is that they're going to do something to that thanks. They're going to make it pulse. They're going to make, if I was them, I would make that heart. I would make the heart red. It's got a heart symbol with a dollar sign in it. I would actually make the heart outline red. I'd make the dollar sign green, and I would make the heart kind of beat like this, like bump, 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 bump. In other words, just to get people's attention, like, what the heck is that all about? And then they click it, and then they're able to donate. So, I'll bet you something like that happens down the road. And what'll happen is, believe me, if they're not already testing it, YouTube will be testing it. They test all kinds of things all the time. They don't tell you that they're doing it. They'll just turn that feature on one channel, maybe, not widespread. Yeah, well, thank you for reaching out to him. What's really sad, get this, I got really frustrated about 3 weeks ago, and I took the time to write a very respectful letter to the CEO of YouTube. And on my official stationery, very professionally done, professional envelope, the whole thing, and sent it to the CEO and marked it personal and confidential so that she would open the envelope. And I explained a little. I did 1-page letter. I know she's busy, just saying, hey, here's some context. I'm the original home improvement channel on YouTube. I was the first person. I was one of the first 50 YouTube partners. I gave this huge context of my relationship with Google. And I told her, I even met you one day. And I told her the day it was. I said, I met you on this day. I was out at the headquarters. And Kim Malone and I passed you in the hallway, and she stopped you and introduced me to you. But I said, I don't expect you to remember me. And then I said, blah, 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 blah. Is there any way possible you could turn this feature on? So I would have expected, here's what happens. I've in the past year, I've had to write 3 or 4 letters to CEOs of companies. And every other one I've gotten a reply from. And what happens in all the cases is I got a reply, not from the CEO, but from somebody right underneath them. And either got a phone call, got a very nice letter. They were very thankful. blah, 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 but nothing. I haven't heard one word out of anybody from YouTube. And I just find that if it would, how can I say this and not sound pretentious? If it was just a regular person reaching out to the CEO of YouTube, I could see how she might brush them off. But at least me, I've got some history with the company. So, she could have had an underling. All they had to do was they knew that they were going to turn this on to everybody. They knew it. All they had to do 2 weeks ago was just write back or just call and say, "Hey, Tim, this is Randy Jones from YouTube. Susan asked me to give you a call. I got good news for you. We're going to turn that feature on. It's going to go live to all the channels, all the partners, on or before this date." That's all they had to do. Nothing. Bad. That's bad form. All right. All right. If you got any questions about your home, now's the time to ask them. Looks like the storm is going to blow over. It's getting lighter. We're not going to have, maybe it's not going to rain. We kind of need it. It's been a little dry here. But go ahead and ask any questions you got about your home. Happy to do it. Happy to help you. That's the only reason I do the live streams. I don't do it to listen to myself bloviate. I can tell you that. Well, that could be too. Yeah, I can. There's not a doubt in my mind that they have developed a list of enemies. All right. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I had that MO over 10 years ago. Because I early on back in 2005, 2006, 2007, I was invited to 3 of the Google Zeitgeists. All right. These were huge events, man. I mean, like the top people in the world attended. I could not believe I was invited. And they had an exit survey at the end of each one, and they had all these different speakers, and it was pretty obvious to me at the time that it was almost like soft pornography. All right. I mean, it was a soft sell of their point of view, of their political view. And I complained, and I just said on this forum, I just said, listen, I said, if you're going to do that, if you're going to go that route, why don't you at least invite a speaker that feels the other way? Of course, I never heard anything, and they just think I'm a troublemaker, I'm sure, when I say something like that. But anyway, hello from Iowa. Well, the subject today, Benitez, was I talked about this stuff. I talked about the DeWALT Elite series. So here's DeWALT, and here's the Elite series. All right, so it's a new line of saw blades, drill bits that have got extra engineering, extra tough, that cut better, last longer, make you more productive. So I talked about that earlier on, but now we talk about anything you want. So I'll give the floor to you. What do you want us to talk about? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to discuss? You want to talk about corn? I mean, how high the corn's growing in Iowa. I'm messing with some tape on my leg that's hurting me. A piece of this clear medical tape that's pulling on my hair. Steve, I talked about it, I think, before you came on. So yesterday I did something really stupid, long story, but I decided to take my daughter's motorcycle out. It's like a Harley Davidson, and I was wearing shorts. It was a really hot day here, and I knew not to wear shorts, but I was too lazy to go in and change pants. And also understand 3 years ago, I seriously burned my right leg on the same motorcycle. Serious burns. I mean, I should have gone to the hospital, but I didn't. And so I burned my leg again yesterday. Idiot. All right, let me see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on. Steve's got. I have to move this over to be able to see all the chat. Which American company do you think that outdoes the Japanese? Oh, well, I mean, what I mean, in what category? I mean, there's so many categories, and I'm not an expert on all Japanese products. That's the thing. Uh, I mean, I guess Makita is Makita still a Japanese brand? Isn't that funny? I should know that. I mean, I would think Makita is Japanese. All right. All right. I'm trying to think. Well, it's here. Get this. I reached out to the Makita communications director to test one of their saws, and a guy was going to send me one, then he went dark on me. I don't. I guess I didn't answer his question right. I don't know, but so I haven't tested a Makita saw in a long time. I know that Makita is a contender. Since I haven't used one of their products, I really don't want to go out on a limb, but I would consider probably DeWALT or Bosch, or well, Bosch is not really American. Bosch is a German product, right? German owned company. How about Milwaukee? So Milwaukee, I hate to really say great things about Milwaukee for a couple of reasons, but Milwaukee is an American company. They make really good stuff. They make really good power tools, and I would think that Milwaukee would beat Makita hands down all day long. Well, Ryobi. So here we go. Ryobi. So Ryobi. Here's the thing about tools, Steve. There's all different stratification levels of people, in the marketplace. For example, like my daughter. My daughter is she would maybe only use a circular saw twice a year, and when she used a circular saw, she might only use it for 2 minutes. So it doesn't make sense for her to own a $400 circular saw that you might buy, a top saw. I mean, you can buy a top saw. You can buy a fantastic. I just wrote a column about it. You can buy a fantastic corded, 120 volt, just like the old fashioned tools, fantastic circular saw that will last you 20 or 30 years for $144. Ryobi. So Ryobi is it's a tool line, in my opinion, for what I consider a mid-level DIYer, maybe bumping up against a serious DIYer. And Ryobi is not going to compare ever side by side. It would be like me trying to drag race my Ford truck, in its current configuration, against a Corvette. I mean, it's like I'm not going to win. All right, there's no way. All right. So Ryobi is never going to beat a top Bosch saw, whatever. So Ryobi is just made for a certain silo in the marketplace. So that's so what you have to look at the tools and evaluate it in that light when you go to review them. It's really that simple. Meaning, if I take a Ryobi saw and I use it the way I used to on the job site, I would probably burn it up within a week. It'd probably be gone. Exactly. So let's see. Josh says, I've learned when the good Lord reminded me I might get hurt doing something, I stop and listen and get yeah, exactly. It's always a good idea. It's a good, like, wear chaps, whatever. Glasses, safety glasses, really. I can't tell you, for years I never wore safety glasses because I wear these regular glasses. And I cannot tell you, in the old days before we used nail guns, how many times I would hit a nail wrong trying to drive it and it would bounce out of the wood and hit my glasses. I'm serious. Just without my glasses saved me so many times from eye injuries. All right, Benita says, cool. Can I cover a small part of my basement floor that has asbestos with cure and seal concrete? Sure. Pretty unusual that your basement floor. Oh, is it? Let me ask this question: is it vinyl asbestos floor tile? Is it those square floor tiles that have asbestos in them? Because if it is, there's a really easy way to take those up. That's really, really safe, and it would be better for you to take them up. So, answer my question: are they floor tiles that have asbestos in it? So, because I can't imagine anything else on your floor that's got asbestos in it. All right. That's a good question, by the way. That's a great question. The answer is you can always cover stuff up, but if it, but there's a thing called the adhesive chain. All right. And I've got an article on my website about it. If you type adhesive chain into the search engine, and the long and short of it is that when you start you know how the old saying about a chain, right? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. All right. Well, the same thing goes with adhesives. So if you start gluing things on top of one another, different layers, um, when it fails, it's going to fail where the adhesive is the least strong. All right. Yes. All right. So yes. So there you go. We got it. The chat's really delayed today. So here's what you do. I would take the tile up. Here's how to do it. You got to make sure the basement's really well ventilated, and you have to go buy a block of dry ice. All right. I know it sounds crazy. You buy a block of dry ice. You can buy it. It's really not that expensive. And you get everything all set up. You have it all ready to go. And you have to wear big, thick leather gloves when you work with this, or you'll get instant frostbite. And all you have to do is set the dry ice, and you have to have you have to come up with a way to move it around on the tile floor, and you just lay it on the tile floor and slide it. And within a second or two, it causes the floor tile to get so cold that the tile contracts and it pulls away from the adhesive. And you'll hear it pop. You'll hear it go, it'll just click like that. And so as soon as you hear that click, move the dry ice off of it. And then you have a helper who is picking up the tiles carefully. All right. Understand that it's safe to deal with it. Here's what's not safe. If you were to take the tiles and crack them and break them all up with a hammer and create all kinds of dust, that's when the asbestos gets into the air. But if you are able to use the dry ice and it completely detaches the tile from the floor in one piece, and you pick it up and you put it in a bag, you don't have anything to worry about. You're not going to get asbestos poisoning. All right. It's not going to happen. So that's how I would do it. All right. Do you think it's necessary to put a membrane down if you're doing 4 to 6 inch concrete base? Yes. I would, Steve. And the reason, especially, I'm glad you said it was for a shed. I don't, because most people store things in a shed, in an outdoor shed, that are going to rust. So you don't want all that water vapor from the soil to come right up through the concrete, which it will. It just goes right through the concrete. And then things inside your shed will rust faster. So if you put down a sheet of plastic before you pour the concrete, you block all that water vapor coming up through the soil. So yeah, very good idea to put a membrane down. Very good idea. Those are great questions. Those are the type of questions I like answering. They make it for a lively live stream, per se. What's going to happen? Oh, I might be making some really interesting videos this coming weekend. And the reason why is these are videos I've never done before. And I'm sure there's all kinds of videos out there. Doesn't matter that they are, because I think I can do a better job. And I think I bring something to the party these other people don't. But my son bought a brand new home, and the closing is this Friday. And on Saturday, we're going to start to repaint half of the inside of the home. All right. And the reason why is I don't know what the trend is over in England, over in the UK, Steve, but here in the United States for the past few years, it just blows my flipping mind, just so you know. All the quote unquote designers, all these people in the know say, oh, the in color is gray. I'm talking battleship gray. All right. Battleship gray. So every room in my son's new home is battleship gray. It's the most depressing thing I've ever seen. It's horrible. It's horrible. So he's picked these really vibrant colors. And so I'm going to do, one of the videos I'm going to do is about how to pick the color, how to deal with these bold colors. Meaning when you look at this a color chip and you go, wow, this is really a cool color. I really like this color. But what happens is that when you paint an entire wall that color, even though the paint matches what's on the chip, um, it looks a lot darker on the wall. And so I'm going to show people how to solve that problem. I'm also going to probably show some technique videos, the old-fashioned way of how to cut in, just a really fine point video on the true magic of cutting in like with just a brush, not using masking tape, all that crap. I'm really going to beat up on the masking tape people, just so you know, because I'm going to say I'm going to have some fun with these videos. For example, I'm going to say I'm going to start this video and probably go, oh. You thought I was going to use this stuff, right? Hold up some masking tape. Like, wait a minute, aren't you concerned about the flipping environment? I mean, aren't you worried about the landfills? Aren't you worried about too much plastic in the ocean? Because I'm going to go after that crowd. Well, if you're one of those people, why would you want to use this? Blah 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 blah. So, and then I'm just going to throw it away. I'm just going to throw it out of my hand in the room. I'm going to have some fun. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun with these videos. So it'll take me a while to produce them and get them up on the channel, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, add white furniture. Steve says, funny you should say that. We have a new hospital in my area, and all the way. Yeah, it's horrible. I got photos of it. I mean, I went there to look at this house a month and a half ago or whatever. Took some photos. It's absolutely horrible. And what I'm going to do before we start to paint, I'm going to actually shoot a video. I'm going to shoot a video walking through saying, look how horrible this is. Oh my gosh. But these colors, I think if we put, it's going to look pretty interesting. He picked a really interesting color for the living room, which is it's like a slate blue. It's a really interesting color. And the kitchen's a really interesting kind of a deeper butter yellow. Then he wants to paint the dining room, which this is all like one giant long room through the house. The dining room wants to paint the cinnamon color, but it's a pretty heavy cinnamon orange. Pretty wild. And then there's like a Three Seasons porch room, this very nice, pleasant green color. Some of the wards don't have any windows. Oh my gosh. You know what they ought to do? Somebody ought to come up with some decals. You know how on the battleships they have the numbers, like the number of the ship? They ought to put on the wall those big numbers. Oh my gosh. But this gray, whoever thought it was a good idea? And and of course, I got to meet one of these people that do this. I was on an editor's tour maybe 6-7 years ago out in California to one of the Behr paint factories. Really interesting to see how they make paint. How do they make a batch of paint? Get this. The vat that when they go to make a batch of paint, the vat is probably 15 feet high, maybe 20. And it's probably 15 feet, maybe 20 in diameter. Big. So I don't know. You'd have to do that math for that cylinder, what that is. And I mean, a lot of gallons. All right. So I'm just guessing. I'm thinking of what my propane delivery guy, his truck is 3,000 gallons. I could probably easily fit 4 of those tanks in there. So I'm going to say they would make 12,000 gallons at a time. And wow. I mean, because once they make that batch of paint, they've got this assembly line that they pump all that paint into the cans moving down the line. So they're not going to make just 50 gallons of paint. But the whole point is that when I went on this tour, we also got to meet the head lady who's their head color expert. She's the person who develops all the new colors. And of course, you know what's in play here, right? Come on. And it's the same way with clothes. It's all, they're all messing with your flipping mind. It's all a psychological ops thing. in other words, they introduced these new colors in both wall painting and clothes and fabrics for for rooms and kitchen appliances, whatever, toilets, uh, so that you buy more. So because there's a certain percentage of the population that wants to be with the in crowd, and it's just a big game. Because there's nothing wrong with your pink tile in your bathroom, but once you see that the pink tile's out, you go like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be considered out. So so you put in the new product. All right. Let's see. You didn't answer my other question about the concrete base. Oh, you're right. No, you don't put the concrete down. The way we do it here in the United States is if I'm going to pour a concrete slab for your shed, and let's assume that, we don't have a frost issue. I'm going to excavate and get rid of any soil that has organic material in it. All right. I'm going to, any topsoil. You don't ever want to pour concrete on top of organic material. So I excavate that out of there. Then I probably would bring in some crushed stone or sand, because sand is nothing more than rock, just tiny pieces of rock. And then I would put that down and compact it, either with a plate compactor or just even a hand tamper. Get it. I'd have forms set up. I'd have my forms that we're going to use for the concrete. I'd have those already set up so that we get the fill material in there, the proper depth, so that the concrete is uniform thickness, and then compact all that. And then I would put the plastic down. Then I would pour the concrete. That's how I would do it. And even for your shed, I would put steel reinforcing in. I would put steel rod, half-inch steel rods every 2 feet on center, both directions. Because you have to understand that concrete, a lot of people don't know this, when concrete, as it cures and water leaves the slab, it contracts. So it gets smaller, and it shrinks a 1/16 of an inch for every 10 linear feet. So it wants to tear itself apart. That's why we put what we call control joints in concrete. Because it's basically like taking a piece of paper and folding it and creasing it so that you could tear a piece of paper in a straight line. So by putting in that joint where the concrete's thinner, you're encouraging the concrete to crack at that spot. So we call those control joints, so you can control where it cracks. But if you put steel in, it will minimize those. The concrete will have a really hard time trying to pull itself apart. And if it does crack, the crack will be so hairline. And then if you want to fix that crack, I always wait 2 years, and then I just get some gray, non-sanded tile grout, and I just grout the crack. And because it takes about 2 years for the concrete to finally get to where it shrank all the way, and grout that crack, and it should never come back. All right, here we go. I want to build a cabin. Is there a place where they sell blueprints? Oh yeah, absolutely. There are quite a few websites that sell. I like that. Maybe a portal. There are quite a few websites that sell blueprints for cabins. I happen to have on my website, Mr. or Ms. Benitez. I have a neat plan. I'll try to find it here for you really quickly. I've got a neat plan. I sell the actual blueprints of the of the 2-story shed that I built, which would be it would make a fantastic cabin. I mean, it'd be a fantastic cabin. Here they are right here. Oh, come on. Trying to get you the link. So you might want to look at these. These were drawn by an architect buddy of mine who used to subscribe to my newsletter. Unfortunately, he passed away about 5 years ago from cancer. But he did a fantastic job on these plans. They're so detailed, 17 pages of plans for this crazy shed. But it would be a perfect. I can tell you that if Kathy kicked me to the curb, or she passed away, and decided, you know what, I just want to go, I just want to become minimalistic. I just want to, like, be simple. I could easily live in a cabin that size, easily. It's 16 feet by 24 feet, and it's got a second story. Now, when I built it in the second story, I did not. If I had it all over to do again, I would build two big dormers, two giant dormers upstairs. But I didn't do that because I didn't need it for the purpose that I was using the shed for. But it's got a wonderful staircase going upstairs. Easily, I could easily live in this thing, easily, not even a problem. So, but if you don't like that size or you don't like that style, there are websites that show. All you got to do is type cabin plans, DIY cabin plans into the search engines. You'll find so daggone many plans. But the problem that you're going to find, I'm going to warn you right away, is you will not find. I don't think you're going to find a set of plans as detailed. Sylvia, okay, Sylvia. I don't think you're going to find a set of plans as detailed as what I have. So what you may want to do, what you may want to do is, because my plans are so cheap, you might want to buy once you decide on the plans you get. Then you may want to just buy mine. I did. I put the link in again. Here it is. I put the link in already. Here it is again, right there. There's the link for the shed plans. But you may want to buy mine just so you can see all the details, because you cannot believe the level of detail that this architect drew all these cross sections, and you will typically never ever find all that kind of detail on the crappy plans that I've seen online. They just give you a floor plan, a couple of crappy outside elevations, and they wish you the best of luck. Mine is just really, really detailed. He shows every single wall stud in the whole project. Pretty amazing. All right, Steve. Let's see. I was going to make a little road, but on top of the soil, I will not. So Sylvia, you also want to then go, if you're going to build a road, make sure you go to my website and in the search engine, type gravel driveway. Type that in, because I've got a column there that I wrote that tells you how to build a road, basically a really good gravel road. So you want to read that too. Those are good questions. That's a fun project. I would like to rebuild that shed. Actually, it was a lot of fun. I recorded about 150 videos of the entire process. They're all on YouTube. I think if you just type DIY shed Tim Carter, you can see a bunch of them. Couple of them. I think there's one on YouTube. This is a really funny one. So I had one of my newsletter subscribers came and helped me for a week. And he helped me do the whole subfloor, build all the walls, and we started the roof framing. So he became my videographer. Then he had to go back home, and then I got stuck doing a bunch of the videos myself, and I wanted to. I did this video about showing how to cut off the rafter tails. In other words, some carpenters do all the cuts on the ground. And I have found that because of small imperfections up on the walls and whatever, it's better to do them up in the air, right? So I explained that in a video, and it was a really hot day. I'm really perspiring, and I'm using the saw, and sawdust is flying everywhere. and I didn't think about this at the time. And if you've ever watched any of the old Lucille Ball, I Love Lucy videos or shows, like maybe where it's a comical show, where something will happen and flour will explode. Like she'll be baking something and her whole face is covered with flour. So my whole face is covered with sawdust. All right, and my neck, it's everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And I didn't realize this. I mean, I knew there was maybe some, and I recorded this video and. And I go inside later and I look in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, if that's what I look like on a video, but that's what I look like on a video. I think that video is all right, Jack, see you later. I think that video is on YouTube. And if it's not, I don't know why. It should be there. Oh, what would you use? Or how would you screw wood to concrete? All right. So Guess what? Steve, you're going to love this, man. I am going to, I recorded a video for that. You're not going to believe the way to do it. Come on. I'm trying to get my stupid website to work. Here we go. Hold on. I'm going to find the video for you. I got the video. Oh, here we go. Come on. Come on. I'm almost there. You're going to love it. I've almost got it. This is such a great way. It works so well. So watch this video. All right. The bottom line is this works really well. I assume that you're asking that question because you want to build this shed at your home or whatever. And so you're going to pour the concrete and then you're going to put the walls up and you want to attach the walls to the concrete. All right. And you don't need to go to all the trouble of putting in anchors in the slab. That's a lot of work. You know, you have to take your time and get them exactly right so they're in between where the walls are. So this method works really great for doing what, if that's what you're going to do, if you're trying to, yes. Okay, great. So this is the way to do it. All you need is a simple rotohammer with a 1/4-inch bit. And then you're going to need sinker nails, what we call sinkers here in the United States. Wait till you're watching that video. You just you put 2 nails together like this. I can't see my hand because I'm off camera now. Trying to go back. You just take 2 nails together, put them side by side, and drive them into that 1/4-inch hole. It's so great. And the comments I've received over the years on that video, people go, "Oh my God, I didn't realize it would work that well." And if you do it right, I'm telling you, it's really hard to pull out the nails. And with a shed wall, see, you don't have any. You're not fighting uplift at all. You're not trying to prevent it from coming up. You're just trying to prevent the shed walls from slipping sideways. So that's why this method works fantastic. You know, the nails are cheap. You don't need expensive screws, and you're not going to burn up a driver trying to drive screws in a concrete. You don't need to put anchors in and bolts. None of that. This works really great. So that's a great question, by the way. Great question. All right. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to get out of here. Been on here for about 1.5 hours. Wow, it's a long time. Yes, that same method will work well going into poured concrete. All of the shelves in my garage, I have done that way, and my shelves have been up 15 years, no problem. The nails bite really well. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a matter of getting the right size nails. And they have just enough resistance, but all the cleats for all my shelves on the walls, I've never had the shelves collapse. There's hundreds and hundreds of pounds on those shelves. Okay, should work great on a brick wall, not a problem. Just you don't want to go into the mortar joint. You want to try to go into the brick. And it's the same thing for shelves. On typically on a wall, you typically don't have a lot of pull. Like if what you're putting up weighs thousands of pounds, you probably want to go with a different method. But if you're just putting up regular shelves that may only have 100 pounds on them, that weight, once again, that weight is straight down. It's not pulling out. So to me, it just makes it's what you have to understand. What is the force on the whatever is on the thing that you're hanging? Like, is the force down or is the force out? That's what you have to know. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Did a lot of fun ham radio yesterday. Late in the afternoon, 17 meters was wide open into Europe. Here's my log. I made contact with it was really open into Spain. Earlier in the morning, what was remarkable, early in the morning, I made contact with a guy I've worked before, a guy in Japan, Suki is his name. I mean, that's a long way away. And I've just got a stupid wire up in the sky here, up above my house. Just a simple wire, not some fancy antenna. Just a wire, a piece of wire. Suki in Japan, 2 in Spain, Werner in Germany, Daniel in Bulgaria, this other guy in Italy, and then Roman in Poland. So that was yesterday afternoon at about 20 minutes time. So a lot of fun, a lot of fun. You can travel the world, amateur radio. It's very, very popular in the UK, Steve. I mean, a lot of serious radio guys in the UK, really. I'd love to come there and do some outdoor radio. There's some really great places up in the center of England and up north to do ham radio. Oh my gosh. Some beautiful. I mean, I see some of the photos of the guys that do outdoor radio up there. Just beautiful. Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for the great questions. I should be back on Wednesday. Pretty soon, I'm going to cut back to just 1 day a week. The weather's the only thing that's stopping me are the dumb black flies here. Once the black flies are gone in about 2 weeks, I'm cutting back to 1 day a week. So, yeah, I know you don't know anything about ham radio, but I'm willing to teach you a little bit. I think you would really enjoy it. I mean, I like doing it outside, and very minimalistic. Everything I need's in a backpack. It's fun, a lot of fun. It actually is, and I just love being outdoors. All right. Oh, and what I'm going to do, here's the cool thing. I wouldn't do it on a day like today. Probably now that the weather's finally gotten warmer, but I have to wait until the dumb black flies are gone. I'll do the live streams out on the deck. I'm not going to do them up here anymore. So it'll be fun to be outside and do the live stream. Okay. Good night, Steve. Good night to Sylvia. Good night to Jack, I think's gone. Bob, if you're still here. Josh, I'm out of here. So have a great day. Thanks for being here. And you have a great night, Steve. Jump into bed, buddy. And I'll be hitting the hay in about 3 hours here. 8:30. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for being here today. I had a lot of fun. The live stream picked up after a while. We just need people asking questions. So thanks very much. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks again. I'm Tim Carter. You've been watching Ask the Builder.